Race 6 on the card is a very tricky fillies and mares handicap at the 69 level over 1,600 meters. 2 3-year-olds will come under the microscope here. But before we get to that, let's hear from Duncan Howells, who saddles Baranoir, and Tini Prinsloo, who sends out Harrier.
Look, she's all good in herself. Obviously, she's got her measures and she's getting a bit long in the tooth now. But once again, on her day, if the Baranoir arrives at can win races, you'll get a good run from her. So I wouldn't leave her out of exotics or quartets or anything like that.
Yeah, she's very unlucky. She's actually a grass horse. She doesn't like the poly. We have to give them runs, and the other day we ran out from the grass to the poly, and it didn't suit her as well. And I think we're going over 14, 16 this time around with the weight off. I think she's a much better horse on the grass, and I must give her a chance, yeah.
So watch out for a better effort from Harrier, moving back from the poly onto the turf track. Now, Warren, it's a very competitive handicap. 2 talented 3-year-olds, promising 3-year-olds top the weights hereinafter. 59.5 on the back, number 1. Shanty Lane, 59.5 on the back, saddlecloth number 2. So their saddlecloths clearly indicate that they are well drawn. Donovan Dillon and Anton Marcus riding respectively. And they've been priced up 33-10 and 4-1 favourite and second favourite. But I think they face a little bit of a tough test here because they both ran behind Treasured Pearl. Now let's have a look at that form. There were only 6 runners in the race. Yes, they ran 4th and 5th and they were close to the winner. But I'm not sure that that was a great test to judge them by. And I think they're coming up against a number of hard-knocking older fillies. They're meeting them at much worse terms than weight for age. And I've gone for a complete roughie here, number 6, class of 8. And before I hand over to you, I'll tell you why. She's won her only start over the course and distance. Carl Stradham takes some weight off her back. She's well handicapped. She's had a win in 2 seconds at Hollywood Bets Gravel on the turf. And I just think at the weights, forget that last run on the poly, that was all wrong. In fact, Flaming Desire also ran a shocker in that race for some reason or another. And Flaming Desire then came out to run second. So I'm ignoring the last run. I'm going with the roughie. I'm going with number 6, class of 8 to win it.
Well, as you say, it's a 69 handicap and it's very, very tough. It'll be quite different here because I haven't got class of 8 in any of my permutations, and I certainly might now add it after I've listened to your reasoning. But for me, yeah, she doesn't form part of my play. Going back to Harrier, number 13, when Teddy's mentioned the turf, I went straight back to the form lines, and that run on the turf was an absolute cracker, second to Solar Flare. She was the fastest finishing on that occasion, and purely on that effort, we're going to have to give her a mention and include her in our quartet perms. Going back to the 2, you'll see my perms. I've based my whole play on 1 hereinafter and 2 Shanty Lane. I know I'm up against it. I know they're up against it, but I've had to take a stance at some point, and I've done it here.
And you could get away with it because obviously they probably got a lot more talent, inherent ability than the fillies and mares that they meet here. But to be honest, I think it's a bit more complicated than that. But I wish you well because obviously I've included them in my play. But horses like 4 Hot Money must have a chance. I looked hard and long at number 12, Queen's Plain, because Warren Kennedy's record on this Daughter of Dynasty is very good. He's ridden her 6 times for a win, 3 seconds and a 4th. What worries me, that stat is very encouraging, that she's been on the Hollywood Bets Gravel turf track 6 times, never earned a check. That worries me. So that's why I've ignored number 12, Queen's Plain. But I'm also going to give number 14, In Jest, another chance. You'll recall I fancied her last time in a much stronger race, but she raced hopelessly wide throughout and was never given a chance to do her best. Stuart Randolph, who's ridden her to 2 victories, is back aboard, so even give In Jest a chance. But yeah, I've gone 6 class of 8 to win it from number 2, Shanty Lane, number 1, hereinafter. I do respect those 2 3-year-old fillies with number 14, In Jest, to round off the quartet. But it is a competitive fillies and mares 69 handicap. Warren siding with the 2 3-year-olds, and he may be absolutely on the button. I think it may be a bit more complicated. I've gone a little wider.